Assalamu alaikum and peace. This is your brother Bilal back again, black Muslim in America. Just thought I'd stop in and say a little few things that's on my mind. This is just kind of just off the dome, off the top, off Tizo. Thank you for tuning back in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And like I said before, people, this page of mine is just really what's on my mind. So sometimes it'll be political things, sometimes it'll be things about us as a black people, sometimes it'll be things about Islam, sometimes it'll just be general things. Because it's a way to give myself out to the world, to express my thoughts to the world and just put it out into the ether, put it out into the ethos and see what happens. I like to express myself, and I think I do a good, decent job at it, inshallah. And that's all I have to say about that. But I'm not somebody who's on here, trying to rack up subscribers, even though subscribers is nice. Thank you for all the 90 subscribers that have subscribed. I thank you all, and I hope it does keep growing. But it's not really, that big of a deal to me. I just like to, put my thoughts out there into the world and connect with other people who are like-minded like me. So I'm not in some rush to always constantly put videos out. But when I do drop a video, I hope that you all would tune in, and I hope that you would like, subscribe, and share. So thank you. And my sheikh, an old sheikh that I used to listen to, he told us back in the day, most people leave Islam for desires, and most people stay away from Islam because of desires. And that makes sense to me. These are base level, almost animalistic things that drive us or influence us. The difference is that, from us being animals, the difference is that Allah has given us intellect. He also placed in us a ruh, the spirit that Allah has taught right from wrong. So naturally, we know when things are right, and naturally, we know when things are wrong in general. Now, there are some exceptions to that, but these exceptions come about because of either trauma to the person's life, or that person is continuing to further and further go against what you would call their conscience until they just totally burn it out and is defeated. It don't even want to speak up for them anymore. But Allah tells us in the Quran in chapter 91 verses 7 through 8, Allah tells us that it is He who perfected the soul, and then He taught the soul, the spirit, right from wrong. And even my teacher's statement is backed up with Quran, because the shaitan in the Quran, he says how he would use desires against us. In chapter 4 verse 120, Allah tells us that Satan arouses in the people desires and false hopes, but he promises them nothing but delusion. And in the verse before that, Satan tells us what he will do. He says, and I will mislead them, and I will arouse in them sinful desires, and I will command them so that they will slit the ears of cattle. That was something that the pagan Arabs used to do to mark off which animals were for, sacrifices to their gods or whatnot. And Satan also says, and I will command them so they will change the creation of Allah. And Allah says, and whoever takes Satan as an ally instead of Allah has certainly sustained a clear loss. So you have, Satan says in this verse, and I will command them so they will change the creation of Allah. What do you have now? You have this whole trans thing going on. It's just really big and moving now. So, and they're trying to move it into transhumanism, which is pretty much making your body into a robot. You're changing the creation of Allah. Putting tattoos all on your body. That's changing the creation of Allah unnecessarily. So these are type of things Satan leads us to, and he does it through desires. So I say that to say this, I know y'all seen that WAP video, WAP, with Meg and your girl Cardi, and I'm not going to say the title of it, but you know what the title of it is. And we know what's going on. This is nothing but Satan arousing in you false desires. And this is one of the reasons we as Muslims see music as sinful, as haram. But, also being real with the listeners out there, we know what society we live in. We know that it's impossible to escape music in this society. And this is not giving an excuse to listen to music, but we know how hard it is to escape it. Even when you don't want to listen to it, you will hear it. So you've heard it. And this isn't a condoning of it, like I said. I'm just speaking the reality that many do listen to music. And you have to understand what it is. It is just a tool that can be used by Satan. You have music out there that calls to good or speaks about conscious things or love or whatever. But you have to understand all music plays with your heartstrings. It plays with your emotions in some form or another. And it also influences you. You just have to accept this reality. Even though you may say, oh, well, it's just entertainment to me. Okay, but it still has an influence over you in some way. Everything does. So we know why this video was put out. It was the Satan, or whoever's behind these women, the Satan's behind these women, the Satan influencing them, whatever you want to call it. That's Satan arousing desires in the people. They have to keep promoting this whore culture. That's what we're locked in and trapped in right now, is a whore culture. That's what they're promoting through this music video. There are two, pretty much, to me, you could say two or three, but the two main desires of humans, lower base desires of humans, are food and sex, sexual gratification in some way. Those are the two strongest, I would say, basic desires of humans. And so this is where Shaitan loves to attack you at. He loves to attack you with your sexual desires because that's so easy to arouse. And this is why Allah tells the men and the women, but he addresses the men first. He tells the men to lower their gaze from looking at, women. And, it's hard sometimes. And I don't know if it was a hadith or a statement of a scholar, but they said that when a beautiful woman walks past you, Shaitan comes to whisper to your ear, basically, and he tries to make her rear end look even more voluptuous to you so you can turn around and look at it. He wants you to look at it. Also, when you looking at and lusting after the opposite sex, or even if you have issues with, certain desires in your heart, you're looking at the same sex and desiring them. Shaitan is throwing darts in your eyes and in your heart, and he's arousing in you those desires. So this is one of the strongest ways that Shaitan attacks the people. And as you can see here in America, it's just the overflow of whoredom, of slordom. You can see that. You have the bastard babies. You have the high divorce rate. You have children born out of wedlock, side babies, STDs. The whole rainbow stuff going on. It's just a nation of extreme sexual desires, and they have to keep promoting this. And white supremacy, which is Satanism, so they're together. It is a system created by Satan. They know that they have to keep doing this. That is how you keep people off their square. Think about it right now. You have black people in the streets still turning up. You have black people in the political sphere and with the political mind. And you have the black media turning the people's minds up, waking them up even more. Black people are getting on code and becoming more together about how they want to move in this world. Reparations is really on the table. Being against police brutality and doing something about it is really on the table. Defunding the police is really on the... All of these things are really on the table. You got politicians running around here scared because the black people are not supporting them and they're not going to vote unless they're getting tangibles. We're calling out all the bootlegs. We're calling out all the white supremacist allies and all of that. We finally determined our own ethnic group as foundational black Americans, as descendants of American slaves. So They have to arouse that desire, especially within us now. And this is why, to me, this video has dropped during this time. Because you niggas is too focused on getting yourselves right. We got to get you focused back on WAP. We got to get you focused back on big booties and sex. We have to get you focused back on that, so that way we can change that energy. And that's what this is all about. Because if they don't keep the whore culture going, then how we're progressing now we're gonna go back into the mode of building strong families and building strong communities, and that comes through controlling one's sexual desire. Not saying everybody's gonna be perfect, but the more and more we control our sexual desires, the more and more we're going to build strong families and strong communities, and that's not what they want, but that's what we're headed to, and they have to stop that. And this is why this video was being put out. So it makes sense. Think about it. Two of the strongest, like I said, two of the strongest base desires in humans is sex and food. So look at America. We're overflowing with whore culture, and then on the other end with the food, look at America. We're overflowing with obesity. Once again, the shaitan comes to you with the desire of food and telling you how good this will make you feel. And one thing about Satan is that he's a deceiver. Sometimes he will blatantly lie to you, but it won't be that much of, it won't be like 100% a lie. He plays with you. So for instance, he told Adam and Eve in the garden, he told them, Allah don't want you to eat from this fruit because you'll become immortal. You'll live forever. That's why he don't want you to eat of this. He was lying because they were in paradise. They were already going to live forever. They were going to be fine. But he wasn't fully lying, because when they got kicked out of paradise, Allah told them if they repent and come back to obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments, they would die, but then they would go to paradise and live forever. So even though they ate the fruit, they would eventually still live forever, but the in-between time, they would have to die first. That's what he didn't mention to them. So he'll lie to you, but he'll mix the truth with the lie. So this is how the shaitan works. So the shaitan will come to you with the food and say, hey, it's going to make you feel good. And that's not really a lie. When you eating these good foods and different variety of foods, it feels good. It gives you a high. Especially those who have a problem with obesity. They understand the high they get from the certain type of foods they eat and the certain type of drinks they drink. So shaitan says, hey, yeah, drink this, eat this. It's going to make you feel good. But then he doesn't tell you the end result. Now you got diabetes. Now you got high blood pressure. Now you can't move around properly. So the two main things that I'm talking about are the two main desires that humans have. We see them in America, because shaitan is running rampant with the desires. And this is why he has to keep it going, to keep us off of our square, from one, getting ourselves together, and two, from turning back to Allah alone. And back to this WAP video, I kind of see the play with this. I see what was going on also with this. Not only was it about keeping us enthralled in sexual desires, but I also see the play behind this. Remember when Meg Thee Stallion got shot in the foot, allegedly? And the reason I say allegedly is because how you come out with this video, it hasn't even been 6 months, has it? You got allegedly shot in the foot, and not even 6 months later, you're in the video shaking your butt. You in the video doing all kind of dance steps. That takes a lot of toe action. You flipping around on your back, crawling on your hands and knees. That takes a lot of toe action. How are you doing that and you just got caught, you got shot in your foot not even 6 months ago? Less than that. That don't make sense. You're lying. I call cap on that. You lying. But the play behind this was, to me, at first when Meg Thee Stallion allegedly got shot in her foot, because notice Tory ain't been arrested. I don't think it even happened. I think it was just some bullcrap they made up. But I'm rambling. But the play for this was that it was supposed to be turned on black men, Because notice, as soon as she got shot in her foot, the next couple of days she was on Twitter talking about how the black woman is so unprotected. And niggas called that out quickly. They're like, no, we not doing that. We not doing that. We not taking it there. Nope, you the one who chose to hang around Tory Lanez and hang around people like that. No, don't even take it there. So before that even came out the clip, black men was calling that out. Like, nope, we're not gonna. We will cancel you today, Meg. So they had to get that back under control. It's like, oh, okay, well we can't come at it from that angle. So then they released the WAP video. Now they know that even though the majority of people are involved in this horror culture, there are some people, men and women, but you have, you know, the righteous men who are going to stand up, and they're going to say, no, this is doing too much. You know, we like a little fun here and there, but this is not the time for that. We don't want our daughters falling into this horror culture. We don't want our little sons falling into this horror culture. Because it's a problem. It's already destroying the black families anyway, and now you're still trying to promote it even hardcore on us. And you got people out here talking about some well shoot, y'all don't got a problem with gangster rap, y'all don't got a problem with all these sexually explicit lyrics that other male rappers are doing. Actually, the righteous men do have a problem with it. They call that stuff out too. When that gangster movement started popping off and everybody fell into it, it was the righteous men who started standing up and saying, y'all niggas ain't like this. Most of y'all is lying. It was rappers and righteous men who was calling out these dudes lying, and then that kind of started to stave out. People stopped trying to just be all gangster just to be cool, and they started going back to being their true selves. You still have, you know, street rap out here, but don't nobody trying to be involved in the street life like that no more. Because you had men and women, but you had men calling it out saying, no, this isn't real life. We don't need all that constantly promoted to us. So it's the same thing with this. You have the righteous men who stood up and they're saying, no, we don't want that promoted to our families. You know, it's cool to have fun here and there, but we don't want that overly horror culture promoted to us. And that's where that's where they said, okay, this is where we're going to attack black men at. We couldn't get it from the angle of when Meg got shot in the foot, so now we're going to release this overtly sexual video so that when the black men stand up, then we can attack them from that angle. So they started attacking black men from saying, y'all don't have a problem with other kind of rap, y'all don't have a problem with 2 Live Crew. They started doing that. And also another thing is now they're trying to say, see, this is why men are the problem, because y'all too controlling. Y'all won't let women have sexual freedom. Y'all don't like sexual liberation, only for yourselves. So this is how they're choosing to attack the black man. So either way, that's what the outcome of this situation was, and that was the play for this video. It was to get our minds off of black empowerment, just like that one chick was twerking in the street in front of the cops talking about that's liberating. Bitch, that's not liberating. You're just letting them know you're a plantation slore. Anytime they want to come get it, just, you know, kill them niggas over there, but you can have my body. Just don't kill me. That's what you were doing. You were promoting and advertising that. And that's what this video was about. Don't worry about black empowerment, y'all. Just make sure you got that wet. As long as you got that wet, then you got something that will keep these race soldiers off your back. So that's what that was. And even the video itself was filled with, like, you know, all of the Masonic type, Illuminati type, MK Ultra type mind control stuff. It was filled with all types of symbolism like that. And I haven't even watched the whole video. I've seen little clips here and there on Twitter. And you know, you got them in the jaguar print. That's the mind control. That's the sexual mind control that they do. That's a symbol for that. Then they're looking to all these different rooms and going to these different rooms. To me, that's symbolism of them little mansion parties they got to do. They know in the mansion parties, you got to do all kind of weird sexual stuff in these different rooms going on, just so you can keep your position inside they little society. You got to go to these mansion parties. So that's what that video also represents to me. They sending out their code saying, okay, yeah, we still down. We still doing our mansion party thing. So, you know, that's another angle to look at it. But all it is a fantasy. It's an arousal of your lower evil desires from Satan. And it was another thing that in the song Cardi talks about how I don't cook and I don't clean and I still got a ring, and you have dumb females out here bragging about that and thinking that's going to be them. That's another way Satan is leading them astray. That is another way Satan is leading them astray. That's not the general rule. That is an exception. And the only reason it's an exception is because of the type of person that she married to. If the end result is just for you to get a ring, you can find any lame dude out here with some money to marry you and put a ring on you. That shouldn't be hard. If the end goal is a ring, so you have Satan leading these young women astray, telling them you don't have to cook and you don't have to clean, just be overtly sexual and some man will come along and wife you up. That's what's going to happen. But let's look at it. Who is Cardi married to? She's married to Offset. Offset, he's a cornball. Much props to them, but he's a cornball. How you a millionaire and allegedly a millionaire, and you're marrying this woman who is a ex-stripper? She was slurring it up out in these streets and bragging about being a hoe out in these streets, and you're marrying her. So that lets you know you're a lame. So what's that telling you, ladies? Yeah, you might not cook and clean and you still might get a ring, but that ring is going to be from a lame. He's a lame. You don't wife up hoes. So he chose to wife up a hoe. You know why? Because he wants to live that lifestyle. He's a male hoe himself. So he wants to have promiscuous sex. That's why you see him constantly being caught behind her back going with other women. And I'm sure they have to have other women come in their bedroom as well. And once Cardi stops wanting to do that, then that's when he's going to cut her off. So this is the lifestyle you have to lead in order to get a ring from somebody. So yeah, he may have money and that's all good. But think of the things you have to constantly do to be able to be provided for by that money. Because as soon as Cardi starts saying, well, I really don't want to do threesomes in the bedroom anymore. I wanted to just, be me and you, I want to stop living this horror life. You're going to be like, well, that's cool, but it's time for you to clock out then. That's what it's going to be. How are you? Another thing that proves he's a lame. How are you getting into a relationship with a woman who likes girls and likes dudes, used to be a stripper, claims she was a hoe, and you're marrying her, and then you're sneaking behind her back with other women? If you was really real and wasn't no lame, you'd have been like, look, I'm going to marry you, but I'm going to still do what I do. And if you got a problem with it, we ain't going to get married. If you live in that type of lifestyle, it ain't like she ain't going to accept it. And if she don't, you're Offset, dog. You could get Dana any chick that look better than that, right? So that proves he's a lame. Women don't want to marry a lame. But this is the stuff that they're promoting to you. This is what Satan is promoting to you. This is the fantasy that women have in their mind that is being promoted by this horror culture, that I can live the life of being a hoe as a young woman from 19 to like 27. I can just give my body out to anybody I can give my body out to any woman or man that I want to. I don't have to learn household making skills of cooking and cleaning. I don't have to develop my character. I don't have to take in knowledge so that later on I can teach my husband some things that he may not know. I don't need to increase in my wisdom so that way I can watch my husband's back and being an enhancement to his life and look out for his blind spots. No, they're not learning these skills, how to raise children skills. Only thing they're learning is how to pop their wet. That's the only thing they're learning, because that's what Cardi told them. That's all they need to know to get a ring. So these women go through their 19-year-old all the way to 27, and then they're saying, okay, I'm ready to get a ring now. And the fantasy to them is that they're going to rack up all these bodies and that some high class, high value man with money is going to want them. And it's not going to happen. In general, it's not going to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, instead of getting mad at themselves for making that choice, or getting mad at Cardi and whoever for influencing them to make that choice. No, it becomes an anger towards men, black men in particular. No, we're not going to have that. That was your choice. And this is how the shaitan is leading you all astray. And, just my last point. Think about it like this, man. In general, male MCs, male rappers, they rap about being the man, having the money, having their pick of the litter of women they want. And then they have the lower class women that they just run through, the hoes. And then they have the wifey material that they try to wife up while they have the hoes on the side. That's what they mostly rap about. So who are Meg and Cardi rapping from the perspective of? They're rapping from the perspective of the hoes and being the side chick and saying, well, it's fine for me to be his hoe and to be his side chick because I'm getting money out of it. This is what they're promoting to your children. But then she's bragging about getting a ring. So she's confusing the youth. She's confusing society. Because on one end, you're saying, well, I got a ring from being a hoe. But then you're promoting to be a hoe and to get money and to be a side chick and don't matter as long as you're getting your paper. That's all that matters, huh? They're rapping from the perspective of being the hoes of the men who have it all. They're not rapping from the perspective of being the wives and the wife material of the men who have it all. They're rapping from being the hoes, the concubines, the side pieces of these rappers who have it all. So just think about that. And then you had some chick, I don't even know her name, but she had like a 20-second cameo in this video, and she's like a professional slore. She works, in the sex industry. And she had an Apple interview bragging about how Cardi B and Meg's music makes her feel liberated. She didn't even have an explanation on how she feels liberated. She was just saying, yeah, when me and my girls listen to that and they talk about getting this money out of these dudes, it just make me feel liberated. I'd be like, oh yeah, girl, get it. What do you mean by liberate? What she means is it makes me feel good in accepting this sexual horror life that I'm living. It makes me feel that the life I'm living isn't that bad. That's what she means by it makes me feel liberated. Because the life she's living, I'm going to tell y'all what it is. This is why Shaitan wants to lead you down that path. He wants you to go to the hellfire with him for one. But for another reason, he doesn't want you to be happy. When you go down this path of sexual slordom, all it leads to is depression and darkness. So this little prostitute, basically, who sells her body, she's on her Apple interview bragging about how it makes her feel liberated. What she means is their music gives me a little light in this darkness. Their music gives me a little light in this dark. It makes me feel a little good about the depressional state that I'm in from living this lifestyle. That's what it means. It gives me encouragement to keep going and not to change my life. She's talking about she got 3 kids from being a hoe and she's a single mom. I'm sure all those 3 kids ain't from the same dude. How was that liberating? That didn't liberate you. That actually put you worse off. And then you have the chicks who were interviewing her. They're all saying facts. I wish I could play the video, but I don't want to search it all up. But you can go find it. It's on Twitter. It's floating around YouTube. She's talking about how their music makes her feel so good, makes her feel liberated. And cause she said, cause y'all not liberated. How you don't respect yourself? Talk about I don't respect myself. No, you don't respect yourself, because if you respect yourself, you would be getting money out of these niggas. That's respect. And then they talking about some fact. They let you know women and hoes stick together because it's all about chaos. But aside from that, they talking about facts and she talking about, so what makes you liberated, what makes you have self-respect is if you're getting money out of it. That makes you self-respect. It doesn't matter that you're selling your body to whoever comes along. The self-respect that you're getting money out of it. Oh, okay. So just peep the game, people. I went on a little too long. I started rambling here and there, but I appreciate you all listening and tuning in to this quick little update, quick little drop. Make sure you stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll get back up with y'all soon, inshallah. This is Bilal of Black Muslim in America. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and assalamu alaikum.